Well, welcome back to the Prospect Hunt. Hopefully you'll like this video and hit that subscribe button before you get really started. But we're going to talk about Brandon Sproat, who's had like a meteoric rise in the Mets farm system. The Mets drafted him last year in the second round. They drafted him in 2022 in the third round. They couldn't come to an agreement. He went back to college for his last season, which he's a 4-year college player, and he's been on a rise this year in the minor leagues for the Mets, and he's going to be with the Mets very, very quickly. And all points point to him being with the Mets next year. SNY did an article on him that I want to share with you, and it's called, it's titled, "On the Meteoric Rise, a Flamethrower Mets Prospect Brandon Sproat. Sproat could join New York's rotation at some point in 2025. Wasn't that interesting? Growing up in Florida, Mets pitching prospect Brandon Sproat's earliest baseball memories was playing catch with his dad at 3 or 4 years old. At 23, it is something he still does every time he gets to go home. His dad ended up being his first baseball coach and helped establish his love for baseball. My number 7 prospect in the Mets system's love of the game led to him playing baseball at Pace High School in Florida, which has had 12 of its alumni end up as Major League Baseball with draft picks, including 2 first-round picks, Addison Russell to the Cubs in 2012, and Drew Cumberland to the Padres in 2007. Surprisingly, for a now near consensus top 100 prospect in baseball, Sproat was not a pitcher until his junior year of high school. Quote, "I went out for tryouts and I think I hit 90 for the first in my junior year, and that was the first year of me really pitching," Sproat told SNY. This led to some professional interest in the summer heading into the senior season with a self-described late bloomer. Sproat turned his high school success into a scholarship offer from the University of Florida and ended up being a 7th-round pick in 2019 by the Rangers. The Giants, the hell am I talking about? The Rangers. This was the first of a couple of difficult decisions he would have to make surrounding when to turn professional. Quote, "Florida turns college athletes into professionals quite a bit," Sproat said. "It was a difficult decision because the goal since I could pick up a baseball was to play professional baseball. Writing out the pros and cons, the biggest thing was maturity. Looking back where I am now versus where I am then, I'm glad I went to college." After his junior year at Florida, where he posted 3.41 ERA and 89 2/3 innings with 82 strikeouts, the Mets selected him, Sproat, in the third round of the 2022 MLB draft. As a college junior, most of the industry expected him to sign and turn pro, but for the second time he chose college over pro ball. While Sproat would not comment on the specifics of why a deal wasn't able to be struck with the Mets, he did point out how important school was to him, and a promise he made to his parents that he would graduate college no matter what. Thus, for the second time, Sproat would be the highest draft pick to go unsigned in his draft class. And he turned out to be the second in 2 years in a row. Obviously, in 2021, the Mets drafted Akuma Rocker, and he didn't sign because the Mets didn't like his x-rays on his elbow. He returned to Florida for his senior year, where the baseline stats, 4.66, were not quite as good as his junior year, but he missed more bats and had growth in his pitch arsenal while being able to reach a goal he had since entering college, going to Omaha for the College World Series. Florida made it to the finals, where they lost to LSU. And obviously LSU was led by Paul Skeens, the Pirates all-star. Sproat had graduated college, had gone to Omaha, and now has the time to pursue the lifelong dream of being a professional baseball player. Much like the movie Draft Day, it felt like the Mets had to post a note in their pocket that said Brandon Sproat no matter what. He had signed the required paperwork allowing the Mets to redraft him, but even doing so, he didn't necessarily think they were going to be the team that took him, until he got the call that he was going to be the 56th overall pick in the 2023 MLB draft by the Mets. Quote, "I was blessed to be picked by them again. It did kind of throw me off guard a bit because very rarely do you see a team do that. Sproat was an exciting addition for the Mets pitching development system headed by Eric Jagers, because he is a good athlete on the mound with electric stuff, but he was raw in the sense that he had not pitched a lot, and you had to figure out the right fastball shape and refine some mechanics to get him to throw more strikes. Those goals have been accomplished in the early going in professional baseball. The Mets have focused more on a four-seam fastball instead of a sinker and refined his mechanics, and since Sproat turned pro, There haven't been many better performing pitching prospects in the sport. Across 73 and 2/3 innings between High A Brooklyn and Double A Binghamton this year, Sproat has a 1.71 ERA, has allowed only 42 hits, and has struck out 85. Very importantly, he's thrown more strikes. He's a reasonable 3.4 walks per nine, and has managed to routinely pitch deep into games, only going fewer than 6 innings twice in Double A. The writer was able to see Sproat pitch last week in Hartford, and he allowed 2 runs over 6 2/3 innings, walking 2 and striking out 9. He exudes confidence on the mound. His delivery was clean and repeatable, and he was pounding the strike zone with his 4-pitch mix. And I would mention, a lot of times I read these articles because I've not seen the players, and I don't want to tell you I've seen a player, or, and I haven't. I think he's going to be good. I just read this stuff because most of the guys and most people that write these articles have seen the players. So that's why I never really give you my opinion on what's up. Okay, his fastball was sitting 96 to 98 and touched 100 in the first 3 innings, and the rest of the game it was more 95-97, touching 98. His mid-80s sweeper is a pitch he needs to throw for strikes more consistently. On that night he did, and it looked like a plus offering. Sproat's upper 80s changeup was always a plus pitch, and he was keeping batters off balance with it all night. His 4th pitch is a curveball, which of now is more of a get-me-over type of offering, but there's hope for it to be a future average offering. I've seen Mets pitching prospects come to the Double-A level for years, and Sproat was just as impressive in person as any of them in recent memory. What has been a meteoric rise from not being a pitcher until his junior year of high school to being drafted 3 times and becoming a top 100 prospect in all of baseball in his professional season. Sproat will be the Mets' lone representative at this weekend's Futures game in Texas. If Sproat keeps developing as he is, we might see him and his former college teammate, Christian Scott, in the same rotation sometime in 2025. I mean, he is flying into the Mets system, and there's a very good chance he'll probably finish the year in AAA, because that's how well he's pitched. Pitchers can come from out of anywhere, and he's got a lot of talent, a lot of God-given talent, and really you never know what you got until these guys start competing on the mound and on the field. Pitching more than any other position you can get a star out of. We saw this with Jacob deGrom. Jacob deGrom, prior to getting called up to the Mets, he was considered a middle reliever, a 7th and 8th inning guy. He turned out to be one of the best pitchers in the history of the Mets, and one of the best pitchers of his generation, probably the best pitcher of his generation. So you never know. A pitcher can come out of nowhere. This Brandon Sproat could be one of those guys. Jonah Tom could be one of these guys. But we'll have to find out. And he's going to be in AAA, I would think. I make that prediction that he'll be in AAA to finish out the season. And he'll be the talk of next spring training. Well, you let me know what you think about this video, of course. And please subscribe to the Prospect Hut, and I'll see you later.